fork, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM, blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chap. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe. Waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see. He's got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine that he packing. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM, blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chap. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the absentness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis. With lengthy game analysis, with sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I give up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, if sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, if sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo!
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine did he packing? He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Chuan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive pot collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, if sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the absentness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis. With lengthy game analysis, with sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board.
All right, my friends, here we are. Ooh, I still don't have a layout for this. God. I'll complain one more time as people are filtering in. Still don't have a layout. Still don't have a layout for grad show with new site. It's like the third week that we're looking at this weird thing. No bueno, Cheno. No bueno, Cheno. Okay. So, we have a big show today. 20-some people that generally, it might take me 2 days. And they might call me away for a meeting later too. So I don't know. We're not trolling David again and again. No, this song is amazing. What do you mean? This song is great. By the way, I should be announcing this. If you use the code Samarkand, as long as this tournament is going on, when you sign up for the ChessDojo site, I'll put in here Samarkand. Boom. You will you get 20% off the first month, bud. Pretty good idea for the ChessDojo training program. That's what we're talking about today. Tomorrow, me and David will be back for the show, man. I've been doing about 4 hours every round, and David's been going like 11 hours. All right, here we go. PL, player NR3. Hi there. Have really enjoyed the program since joining. I love the daily training program, which holds me accountable, and the community on Discord has been very helpful. Looking forward to having my game reviewed. Going forward, when I reach the next ratings goal/graduation opportunity, should I choose to graduate right away, or should I do more training material at that specific cohort before choosing to graduate? In general, hit the graduate button, okay? The only reason not to hit the graduation button is if you feel you got a little lucky in your last couple of games and you want to see if you're really there at the next level, okay? And the point is, the program is designed for skill level. And so you might not have finished everything. That's fine. It's also designed to be kind of exhaustive. So like it's meant to be, if you hit a plateau and you did all of the stuff, you would make it to the next level. You probably are not at a plateau, as an example. You join the dojo, now boom, you're flying up, just flying. Very interesting, good, I guess, that both of these ratings are very close together with the Lead Chess and the chess.com. Okay, good. That all looks pretty good. The heat map looks like you're committed. I love it. Are you part of any clubs? No clubs. Tell us something about yourself. Put a little something. Maybe you'll join a club. That helps me understand who you are, where you are, that kind of thing. Here is your game. Ba-boom. Let's go take a look. And now we're going to go. Oh, this is not a game, though. Now, I understand you just got here. But for me to look at a game, it needs to be annotated. We will take a look at your clock usage, though, and we'll say, hey, hey, that is very good clock usage. Okay, so here we go. Let's go to the next one. And it's across 110th Street. So here we go. Across 110th Street is in the wrong cohort. He's at 986, and that is just the wrong cohort. Totally understandable. If you join the dojo, you haven't figured it out yet, fine. You know, you're working hard just like PL. I can't remember their name, but it started with PL. So you join a similar stage. Great. We'll see you. Get yourself in the right cohort. Okay. Next up, we have isotrexin. All right, here we go. ISO joined at a similar time as our first two contestants on the show here. And it's looking pretty good. They dipped a little bit, but they are making progress, playing a lot, as you can see. Let's look at clubs. Nothing. Games. Let's see. Boom. Dang. Isotrexin is bringing it. Has done a bunch. Let's go take a look. So, here we go. We got minimal notes, and that's honestly fine. You know, minimal notes are okay. Let's take a quick look at the heat map. Ba-bam. Not the heat map. The time graph. And as you can see, isotrexin put it together pretty well. I'd say our time management rating, maybe Where it doesn't work great is at this lowest level of time control. We said it works all the way down to 30-0, but really it's designed for little longer time controls. So as you can see here, Isotrexin by the end, even though he's got a great time rating, he's in trouble by the end, you know. He's in trouble by the end in terms of the time. Okay, so here we go. So far, everything is fine. This is a little weird. Bishop g5, fine. I really appreciate that everyone is developing their coconuts. d6. Bishop c4 is fine. I think bishop b5 is also very nice because it puts pressure on the e5 pawn. Castles, castles. h6. Bishop h4, bishop g4. And now, honestly, black has done himself a good service, and this is what's happening here. I don't think the players understand it, though, is that black has great pressure now on d4 due to this pin and this. So white probably should look to equalize the game with de, knight e5, bishop e2. But h3 is played, and now black can win a clean pawn with that. Okay, so you guys, three things. Let me hold up my number 3. 3 things for the under, let's call it the under 1,000 cohorts, and that would be like under 1250 chess.com. Most important, people hanging stuff. So here we see white is hanging some stuff, and black doesn't take advantage of it. Next, people aren't properly using their time. And as you can see, these people are using their time. I'm going to switch to game review, by the way. I bet I'm going to have to fix something. But I can talk while I'm fixing this. Right, so second of all is time usage. As you saw, these players actually did use their time pretty well. And third, people bringing out their people. So let me just say I've done this show for years and years, and I know exactly that the turning points of the game are truly people hanging their coconuts. The other two things are important, and they get more important as you go up in skill level because people hang their coconuts less as you go up, right? Okay, so bishop h5, a3, okay, b4, okay. Now, huge pressure on d4, and no one is seeing it. No one is seeing the pressure on d4. I want to stress, it takes a while before people start seeing squares. And that's one of the reasons the mate in twos are such a good exercise, is it will force you to see the squares on the chessboard. What is attacking what? Okay, knight d4, good move. Bishop f3 is probably even stronger. Okay. Knight d5, good move. Knight f6, good move. So black, for their part here, bishop g6, not great. Probably we need to play g5 to prevent this pin, to block the pin. So now we're fully back in the game. And now a big win here for white. Look at this. Bang! Oh, delicious. Excellent move, my friend. Excellent move, ISO. And that's just a good tactic. Very good square awareness. So notice you saw that square, but you were missing this d4 square, as was your opponent forever. Okay. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, you don't need to know it's mate in 6. I assume the computer told you. But just bishop f6 and you're going to win the queen. But you are winning this position. And here, black needed to take your queen. You needed to take your queen because you could win nothing else. The simple thing would be to win the queen. Queen g6, king h8, queen h6, king g8, bishop takes d8. Thank you very much. Yeah, now we got a note from Finvar. If you get bored of this show, you can go over to the ChessCom stream, and David is one of the coaches who is there. He is one of the coaches, he and there, choosing which players they are going to coach. And then the drama is to see which coach coach the student the best. All right, queen f5, terrible move. Now the game, who knows what's happening anymore. We're going to get a trade. Now notice what happens here in the annotation. Black, both players, we see this all the time. They stop thinking when it comes to the end game. It's as if they think that the game's over or something. The game's just starting. Bad move, gives the bishop the d5 square. Okay, white misses it. c4, now our bishop's dead. c3, okay. 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 I don't know. Good move. Good move. Now we're toast. Rook takes that c2 and we're done. All of the coconuts are done now. Yep. So, he says he threw it away with a misclick. Well, yeah. Hard loss. Hard loss. I think I was ready to stop the game when you played Queen G6. I was like, well, that's done. That's done. So I think you should feel good about a couple things. You found Queen G6, and you took your time. That alone, in my experience, is going to take you to at least the next cohort. Right? Okay, beautiful. Let's move on to Doc. Back at the grad show. What does Doc got to say? Nothing. But Doc is going straight up. Looks like he just joined the dojo. 542 clubs. Adult improver. Okay. Games. Let's see if we got. We're still working on this thing. It's supposed to show me if Doc has a game. As you can see, though, Doc just joined. He'll get a game for us soon. Next up, we got Blue Bishop. Blue Bishop says, so far, it's been really nice to review games with advanced players. I have changed my view of chess here in the dojo. Well, that's great. So, 600. Oh, and look at that. Look at that. Beautiful heat map. He has done the work, and he's gone up those 78 points. And I think this, I am always more inspired by graduations that have involved some work. It showed like it's not always easy to make that graduation. I'm working on my graduation myself. Looks like he's done a lot of tactics. I'm going to check out his clubs. He's the adult improver. Games. Let's go my games. And then we got this one. Looks fine. All right. First question. Do we got a time graph? We do. And this is more typical of what we see at this level, right? We have black basically not thinking at all, and white thinking just a touch more than that. Chess is a thinking game. The more you think, the more you're going to see. It takes a while to develop the thinking muscle. That's why we don't have players at this level playing like a 90-30 classical time control. That would be too much. They have to first learn to think at this time control. Then when they get a little bit better, it'll go to 30-30. They get a little bit better, it goes more than that, right? And then when you get to the very top, it's going to be 90 plus 30. So that's the dojo. It took us a while to understand this. We realize it takes a moment for people to develop the thinking muscle. All right, here we go. All fine so far. We're going to call that fine. Frisky. Okay. Frisky. And now you take. And you do this. Okay. So this is going to allow black to liquidate your position a little bit. So 94, bishop e7, and now a very frisky move that we should at least talk about, which is knight f2. Yeah, we need to talk about this. So, knight f2. And he says, after king f2, he says, somehow I calculated that I was losing castling rights, but winning a piece. I need to train myself to calculate better on exchanges. Now, I will tell you exactly, my friend. Here, let's go to the game review template. I will tell you exactly what the problem is. I want you to zero in on this. Look at that, 5 seconds. Your opponent blitzes out knight f2 with 19 seconds, and then you play king takes f2 in 5 seconds. All right? Let me show you why I think this position is very complicated. So, bishop d8, knight d1. Bishop g5. Why? Because I need to prevent the knight from escaping. Knight b2. Bishop b3. Why? Because I need to prevent the knight from escaping. Now, a5 is the big question. Now, a4 is the big question. I need to prevent black from playing a4 themselves. Okay? So black must try to get the knight out. I'm about to play either rook b1, bishop c1, or castles, winning the knight. Actually, excuse me. I can't play castles. There's a knight here. I'm not allowed. He's guarding that square, Cry. Come on now. Okay, so a4. Question. Now, could he try to bust out a dodge this way? Okay, maybe. Let's give it a look. It's pretty hot. Now, if we allow knight a4, we're going to say he's okay. So pawn takes. Now, if pawn takes, then we have bishop c1, a4, bishop b2, and hallelujah, that pawn is pinned. So we can't do that. So ab5, if he wants to save the knight, he must play a4. Is it hot? Oh, yes, it is, my friends. Oh, yes, it is. Whew, it's hot. And the glory here is on bishop c1. The guy has a hard time unpinning his knight, or his pawn, right? Yeah, very spicy position. Maybe a3, but then we'll probably play b6. And I like white, but we can all agree this is hot. This is very hot, okay? Now, I just wanted, why did I show that? Because I had to calculate. I had to think about what was going on, okay? Wasn't a 5-second think. Was not a 5-second think, my friends, right? So, the main takeaway that you should have is not what you're saying, that you need to train yourself to better calculate exchanges. No, you need to train yourself to slow it down. This is complicated. Now you're down a pawn, and you have the worst king. So he gives you a worthless check. He should not trade queens, by the way. And he trades queens. Why shouldn't he not trade queens? Because your king is exposed. Now your king's a hero. Blunder. Now, 16 seconds. All right? 16 seconds. That's how fast you played that thing. He says, thank you. You probably need to play rook f3. 95, reasonable. Okay. Blunder. And you say I was demoralized on this top point. Now, let me just stress, when you lose it like this, demoralization, you need to understand that even at a higher level, well, especially at a higher level, what you're going to see is these people don't resign. Gukesh don't resign. Not in a position like, well, here he might resign, okay? But the point is that if there's even a hint of play here for white, we're going to continue. So moves like g5 or king c3, we're going to play on. And especially at this level, they're going to hang a piece still. We know this already. What happens at this level is usually a piece is going to be hung here. Jesse, read the chat, please. I don't understand the chat. CB, bishop c1, knight a4. CB, bishop c1. I don't understand. I don't understand what that means. I try to read the chat, by the way, but a lot of times I get totally sucked into the game. All right, so let's stop there, and we'll move it on. Blue bishop, and everybody else at this level, I want to promise, it is about slowing down. That's one of the main skills, and it's related to the key skill, which is not hanging anything. The more you can slow it down, the more you're going to be able to think. Before you slow it down, the more you're going to not hang pieces. All right, here we got Yuka Bean. Let's read Yuka Bean's story. Hello, fellow dojoers. I am a 34-year-old software engineer originally from Minnesota, but I've been living in the Bay Area, ancestral home of the dojo. I probably should have graduated myself several months ago, but I wanted to at least have one decently annotated game published for Jesse to review, and this summer I had to take a bit of a break due to life getting a little hectic. Moving house, I understand. And I have struggled a little in defining what commitment level that I can consistently, sustainably give to chess. But fortunately, I feel like I have kind of dialed that in for myself recently, honestly, by simplifying it a lot. I can definitely get 10 to 20 minutes most days to at least do some Polgar mates and maybe other tactics and or analyze positions from my games. Also, I think I can get at least 1 day per week with a 2 to 4 hour block where I can play a longer game and get deeper into the analysis annotation. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to try to do more 60+0 games and hopefully at least once a year make a pilgrimage to the mechanics to do a 4-round weekender. Unfortunately, it takes a couple of hours. I totally understand. Yeah. Also, it is cool that the National Open in Vegas, Golden State Open, Portland Open are in driving distance. Perhaps as a celebration after I finish the first 1K Polgar mates. By the way, I want to say you're living in the South Bay. There's loads of tournaments in the South Bay. Also some cool chess clubs that you can check out. Some of my favorite things about the dojo are System 2 thinking, winning tempos from the opponent, pawns are people, and engineless commentary of pro games. Yeah, we've been at it last couple days. Shout out to Jack and the tech people for the slick annotation tech and the ability to create subdirectories to store games. Huge thanks to Jesse for the grad show. Thank you. It is hilarious, full of wisdom, and inspiring. I hope so. If you need a job, Yuka Bean, or want to help us out, we need some tech help, buddy. People who understand chess and can do some coding. All right, here we go. 763. He's had a little break, but look at that. He had a huge thing going on for the first part of the year. And then he's got this over. He's just refound himself. And has gained 78 points. Probably felt like a difficult graduation for Yuka Bean, but he's doing the work. I really appreciate it. We got a clubs, SF Bay Area. That of course is cool, the SF Bay Area, but you or someone else should consider making a more localized club in the South Bay. Las Gatas, Palo Alto, San Jose, right? Wherever it is you are. And you might then find some people who you know. What coding do we need? We need everything. We have 38 dev projects that are undone. I think it might have gone up to 41. So some of them might take you 5 minutes. Some of them might take you a month. But if you want to know more about it, you got to go to Jack. Ask Jack on the server. And we've put out several shout outs on our Discord for people and the kinds of projects that we're looking for. Okay, here we go. This is Yuka Bean. I have a separate thing for the time graph, but let's just use this for a second. And already this is very typical, and I love it when the dojo player is the one who was thinking, namely Yuka Bean here. And his opponent, typical online chump. All right, Pooh Bear's got one in Santa Cruz. There we go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so what do we want here? We want game review. Choop choop. And we're going to go here. And boom, boom, boom. He says, I've been seeing a lot of dojo aggressive repertoire out there. Yeah. One theory I have is that this is an anti-Stafford Gambit solution for all of us who have suffered and fallen prey to that menace. Okay, it is a little highfalutin. So, D3, fine. Frisky, okay. Knight C6, good. Knight F3, good. D6, F5. Ay, Dios mío, this person is he's going with Federico the F-pawn. Now, I will say, this person does have a sense of what they're doing. Okay? And this is a very dangerous position for black. It's going to be, if they know what they're doing, it's going to become dangerous regardless. Okay. Now, for this level, we could talk forever about opening theory. For this level, what I really want to stress is you have done nothing wrong. Nothing. You're doing great. This move, however, is a mistake. Let's read what you write about it, and then we'll talk about it. You write, honestly, I wasn't really sure what to do here. I guess bishop d7 or b6 would be the other developing type of moves, but they did not seem as appealing. The bishop on c4 is eyeing f7, so I'm kind of walking into that check. Yes, right? It may be a little arrogant for me to have played this move because I'm kind of saying that I'm not worried about it. Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, let's say that white has done a kind of beautiful thing and you're in a little trouble. My personal take on what you should do here is to play knight a5. And with that move, obviously we're threatening the bishop, but also we're getting ready to play c6. And the reason c6 is important is that we're keeping this knight out, right? So we also want to play something like c6, d5 to open it up a little bit, to open the position up, because he is trying to do a lockdown on us, and it is very frightening. All right, rook e8. Knight g5, probably a good move. And now d5 might be good. Now notice he spent 24 seconds on knight g5. And now you come up with d5, which I think really might be a very good move. Okay. I like the spirit of it. Now, let's just say if white had realized that maybe d5 would be on the table after knight g5, that he should just castle, because his position's massive. It is a massive position. Okay, so knight g5, d5, very nice move. And he thinks for 12 he thinks for 12 seconds here and plays bishop b3. Okay, so ed5, knight a5. Let's go into that. So ed5, knight a5. My worry is d6. It looks like you're going to have to take this thing. He takes, and I think we're toast. Okay? We're toast. So, did he have time to calculate that? Yeah, he did. He just didn't use it. He just didn't use it. Mouse. Right? Didn't use it. Okay. So, bishop b3. It's a very dangerous situation for us. And you played h6. Now, this one scares me because you're inviting knight f7. And he's not going to think about it all. He's just going to go back. So, the other move to consider would have been bishop b4. The idea of which is just to take pressure off of the d5 pawn. Right? To say, you know what, I'm just going to hold that pawn. You shall not pass. That kind of thing. On h6, he could strongly consider snippos, hippos, crippos, and I want to be honest, I have no idea what's happening here. I don't have a clue. I just know I'm scared to bedevils, okay? For example, snippos, snappos, crippos, and crappos. And now I know. It took me a second. Wasn't sure at first. Now I know. It's over. Game over. Right? It's called mate. By the way, this is all, once you play rook e8, it's like, first of all, it's a loss of a tempo, and it was giving him this f7 square. So this is a very just, unfortunately, it's a just end to your business. Now, what is also just is this guy doesn't think, and so we're going to give him the business. Now, you play DE4, and it's not the worst. But something I want to stress about this is if we can, we want to keep the pawn here. Because once we move the pawn, we enable the bishop. So personally, I like bishop b4 a lot here. Just don't let the bishop free at all. Okay, so D-E, bishop B4, okay. A3, terrible move. Boom, boom, boom. Great. For my coconuts, I would have rather you had taken on D1 first, just to keep your life simple. Because when you take on E4, you'll be threatening C3 and F2. Okay, you're doing great. Terrible move, not developing. Knight C3, bishop C6, check to the miserable king. He's got a hassle in the castle. And what I especially like about this is it's like, bruh, you need to learn how to develop. And also think, like 11 seconds on knight e5, your bishop's hanging, buddy. Your bishop's hanging. Bishop b2. At least try to get out. All right, king h7. Also, very nice that you found this bishop f5 move here. Great that you thought. This guy, if he was up 1,000 coconuts, wouldn't have thought. Now, personally, I just want to say I like this move, bishop b7. You know, develop your pieces. But there's nothing wrong. You're fully in control. There, you're going to go bishop b7 anyway. h3, he's worried about his pawn. Good move. Good move. Good move. Good move. It's probably going to be mate here. Bishop c8. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? Okay, he resigned. Great. Great. That was really good. So, Yuka Bean, also known as Yuka Bean. You're doing great. And, you know, I hope that was helpful. One of the things I think it should also show us is that people yell at me. I've been yelled. It hasn't happened actually in a while. Maybe we're getting better. But I've often yelled at this poor old man. Because they're like, Jesse, we're 700, 800, and they're playing this fancy, aggressive repertoire stuff, and we need to be studying openings hardcore. Now, personally, I can understand if somebody played that F5 move on me, why it would be very scary. I mean, I get it. But you can see that the guy, Yuka Bean's opponent, that guy's got the one with the problem, because somehow he spent all that time learning the aggressive repertoire and had so many other problems going on in his game. Not thinking was the key one. And there were so many positions there where he needed to think some. You cannot play any kind of repertoire, but especially a tactical one like the aggressive repertoire, and expect to be successful if you can't think. Now then you could tell me, but he could learn to think. And then I should be studying openings. Well, let me just tell you, if that guy learned to think, he would maybe be the 1400 cohort, you know? And then you're allowed to study openings then. All right, here we go. So, David is up next. Boom. Well, David joined kind of recently. We might not have much from David. We might not have much. We got clubs, games. We'll give this a click. Nothing. Okay. Well, David, welcome to the dojo. Hopefully, we will see you again at the next graduation. Next up, we have Graham. Graham doesn't tell us anything either. Let's see what's going on. 860. Done a smattering of stuff here. Clubs. Nothing. Games. Nothing. Well, Graham also joined in April. He joined in April, but just started logging some stuff. If we look at the ratings, he made some good improvement. But, you know, we're going to say he's done a little tactics. We want him, of course, he's probably doing more work than this, and he's just not logging it. And, of course, the main thing, pillar of the dojo, is to play some longer games and to annotate them. All right, here we go. Next up, we got Shaw. Shaw says, to be honest, I wasn't using the program at this particular time. I took a break, and all of the tactics training just clicked. I've been winning 75% of my games all of a sudden. Okay, great. So, Shaw, as you can see, really cranked it recently, 848. Hasn't been logging the stuff. We'll see if he's got anything for us. Clubs. Oh, dude, he's full on clubs. He joined June of last year. Nothing on the heat map, but we're suspecting. Look at all this there. Yeah. Somewhere in Chicago, but maybe also in Asia. We don't know. Wait, let's read it. A multi-instrumentalist. Okay, this is interesting. Like the box and have rediscovered a passion for chess a year ago. Last week we had a chess boxer, so that's something maybe you could train for, dude. And he's in Chicago. Yeah, the chess boxing thing is fascinating. If I was young, if it had started when I was younger, maybe, but I've never. Although I might be good at fitness, I'm not really good at sports, you know. But still, it would have been something for me to train for. Now, one of the basic rules I have is I will go over your games, but if it's ancient like this from 2024, I generally don't do it. But I'm happy Shaw found his way back, and I'm really interested in this kind of personality. It feels similar to mine, the piano, boxing. I'm not extroverted, though. No, no, no. No, no, no. The most extroverted I am is on this show right here. So, congratulations, Shaw. Hopefully we'll see you back here soon. And next up, we got Wolson. Wolson has done a ton of work and has also graduated numerous times. Wilson says, I've been told to graduate by several dojo friends and higher cohorts since I have completed the majority of the current cohort tasks. I have not made graduating a priority as I've been trying to work on two major problems. One, slowing down. I have identified a bad pattern in my play. I take time to make a plan and then blindly make quick moves without seeing my opponent's response. Right. Two, play more aggressively. I have to make a passive move based on an immediate one-ply calculation rather than taking an aggressive move based on three-ply. This often occurs after I get an unexpected move by an opponent which presents a threat. Dr. Kabadai's Chessable course on Blender's opponent's moves and three-ply calculation have helped me immensely. Okay, good. I really appreciate the work that you've put in, Wilson. And let's go check it out. So, look at Wilson here. And in fact, let's do this. Let's go heat map. I often don't use this screen, but let me just go here. Boom, boom. There's the heat map. And we're going to expand it. We're going to expand it here. Bang. So, there we go with the heat map. And look at that thing, dude. Wilson is on it. He's going through periods of games and analysis, gone through periods of some tactics and end games, middle games and strategy. He's on it, dude. He's on it. So, all right, great. Let's go back grad show. We'll click this out. And, you know, sometimes you can work really hard and it might not come easy. So he's definitely ready to graduate. Hopefully we'll graduate again soon. And yeah, we're going to take a look at his game, see if we can say anything insightful about them. Here we go. Clubs. 50 plus. Oh, let me tell you, it's harder. It is harder. It is harder. Okay, I'm in that club too. Games. And here we go. This is fairly recent. All right. So first we're going to take a look at his clock usage. And as you can see, he is playing too fast as well as his opponent. Right? Okay, so he recognizes this. And let me just say, right? We can talk forever about three-ply calculations, but this thing about slowing down is really what it's on about. Okay, so here we go. Let's go game review. Boom. A little weird, but honestly, as long as you bring your people out, I'm not going to yell at you. Okay, here we go. Both sides are kind of doing, we could call it like a comfort blanket, where white is playing a London setup and black has got his hippo thing going on. All right. So first mistake of the game, bishop b5, white, it's not developing a piece. The hippo players love to play a6, and this really helps black out because our queen was in a lot of ways our worst piece. Now it's developed and doing something, connecting. We're going to be able to connect the rooks. Now you complain about you being passive, but this guy's passive. All right, this is a very aggressive move. I would have preferred like castling. Okay, queen b3. And you say clear advantage to black, which is probably true. Yeah, probably true. But right, here e5, and this is just a blunder. Now, let's just talk about this, okay? You did spend a minute and a half here, and the basic problem is you're hanging your coconuts, right? Now, I don't want you to feel bad about it. It's very important to see that this is the hardest skill in chess, is to just get a sense of what is attacking what, right? So the more you play, the more you do stuff like the Polgar mates, basic tactic puzzles, you're going to see, oh, he's got 3 dudes on my coconut, and I cannot be playing e5. Also, just in terms of being safe, just castle, buddy. Just castle here. We don't need to play f5. We're doing great. Falgro, hold on. You say he's the oldest dude in the dojo? Do you know how old he is? That would be interesting to me. And also, Falgro, I guess I would be interested in an over 65 club, or maybe if he's truly ancient. You know, if we had some 80-year-olds, bro, I want to see that club. I want to see that club. That's the one I want to see. And by the way, I think, you know, over the last 5-6 years, the whole senior chess 50 plus thing has really taken off. It's a beautiful thing for a variety of reasons. I could go on about it, but I just brought it up because the 65 plus exists kind of, but not yet as strong of a, it's not as strong of a thing. There's not as many tournaments. But yeah, if we get that going, you know, it'd be a beautiful thing. Now, also, Chess Rise says, I joined the dojo May 25. My consistency following the training plan has been awful, to say the least. How do graduations work? It's very simple, and we're going to talk more about it when we go back to Wolfson or the next player. Let's finish this game first. So f5, not developing our coconuts. Queen b3, e5, hanging the pawn. Yeah, now we're in kind of big trouble. Queen d5, good move. Okay, so we're down a pawn. And you say at this point, white is probably better. I think his structure is better and he's a pawn up. Okay, good. Now, I think AB would have been better for black because the knight on b3, I don't know quite so much. You take his knight. I'm not totally thrilled. But okay, let's see what you want to do. A5. Notice the knight isn't great, and you're going to encourage it to go to d4 where it wants to go. Castle's a good move. We could have also done that earlier. Castles, okay. Okay. E4, poor. This is going to allow you to play on the F file with your rook, and you do it. Great, great. Notice E4 didn't really help him develop his stuff. Good move. Looks like he's just hanging his stuff, is what it looks like to me. Rook E4. Well, maybe. No, I don't like rook e4. We want to play something like, we want to at least think about c5 and rook e5. Rook e5, I think, is the one to really think about, because then we'd be threatening c5. I don't understand that one. I don't really understand that one. Good. And that's just hanging a pawn. I hope you said thank you. Good move. Knight g6. Okay. Notice the knight on c2 is one of the worst pieces we've ever seen at the dojo. Thank you. Thank you. Rook h6. Play too fast. Now, this whole stockfish thing you got here, that's way too long. Way too long. And you want to use the human mind to, like, give us a sense of how to play the position. Okay? So for me, the reason rook d7 has nothing to do with that long variation. It's just you are keeping your rooks in an active spot, and you're preventing the other rook from doing its thing. Also notice this rook was stopping the knight from coming out. And that's something we don't want to see. Terrible move, doesn't do anything. King c7, again, you're playing super fast. You could play rook d8. Check to the miserable king. Simple chess. Notice this whole time he's not fixing his knight, and you needed to play rook d7. Checkmate. Checkmate. Let's see if Faugra's talking over there. Faugra says that Wolfson is 77 bows. I was thinking about it today. I was like, will I even make it to 77? Will I even make it that far, buddy? You don't know. That's just one of the things. You could be healthy and yada, yada, but you still might not make it to 77. I have a psychiatrist friend. We do a lesson sometimes, and he was retired. He's about 60-something. And he is of the strong opinion that chess, he feels like the literature is like, it's already a done deal. Literature's shown it. That chess is very beneficial for your mind to not go full dementia. Right? So I want to see those studies and stuff. I think we should also do a dojo podcast about it. But anyways, that is something I'm wondering maybe Wilson's also on about. And I would be interested, right? Like if we have people in the dojo who aren't just playing chess because it's a beautiful game or because they have goals, but they're like, yeah, I need to do something like this to keep my mind alive. In the same way you got people going to the gym. They might not even like going to the gym, but they're like, I gotta go lift some heavy things so I don't die, so I don't get that dementia, Okay, beautiful. So, Chess Rice says, not full dementia, only a little bit. Your mind will deteriorate, by the way. It's just a thing. I notice myself. I'm not, fully bonkers or anything, but my mind is going. It's a slow, inexorable process. Okay, boom. I'm going to mark that as reviewed. Wilson, great. I think, Wilson, if you started a 70-plus club, that would be interesting. Or a 65-plus club. Both of those would be interesting to me. Someday, then I will join you if I make it that far. Okay, we also had a question, how do graduations happen? We'll go to Chris and talk about it. Love the new training plan UI. Beautiful. Yeah, we also got these round robins. If you're just watching this and have no idea what we're talking about, these round robins are amazing. You can play people at your own level. They're not cheating, and it's a tough thing to win. Oh, Cry, you need to hit that grad show button. Okay, so let's click on Chris. Ba-boom. And Chris, oh my God. Enjoying being a chess beginner alongside my 6-year-old. Yeah, look at Chris, dude. He's not, homie don't play. Look at all that grain in there. So he's doing a lot of tactics, playing some games. Has gone up almost 300 points since joining the dojo. Now we had a question. When do you graduate? Well, it's very simple, really. We have our own translation system for if you decide your lead chess is the main thing you are doing, you are most active in, such as Chelmuthir, aka Chris, you will mark that as your preferred rating system. Then we will normalize it, which just means we'll put it to the dojo rating system. And so you can see 1789 equals 1191. It also tells him when his next graduation would be, which is pretty soon. He's almost there. And that's how you know. And also, once you put in your preferred rating system, the dojo will tell you, if you make it, it'll be like, hey, boss, it's time for you to graduate. And then usually you should graduate, unless, like I said, you, for whatever reason, feel like, I don't feel secure yet. feel like you maybe won a couple games by luck or something. Finvar69, I'm hoping it helps my brain health. I want to do a dojo. Well, we got it on our list. We got a long list of dojo podcasts about the brain health. Maybe I'll get my psychiatrist friend to send me some papers. I want to read some papers about it and see what the research says. And Faugra75. Faugra, make that club, buddy. You decide which age group. I think 65 plus is interesting because that is an age where a lot of tournaments are now saying, there's 50 plus tournaments, there's 65 plus tournaments. But if you want to do 75 because you want just to meet some people who are older than sin, then do that, buddy. Then do that. Okay, Chris, you're doing great work. Let's take a look. Clubs. He's in Canada. Beautiful. And he's a coder, so he could hang out. If you want to do one of our 38 projects, we need help. Games. And then let's see here. That was recent. Let's just click on here. Yeah. So we are going to go click on this. Boom. And then we're going to see the clock first of all. Ooh, look at that. So both players actually spending too much time. As we go up the list, we're going to see more and more people spending time. Generally, at this level, it won't quite be this dramatic. So this is obviously a little too much. But notice, now that we've gotten higher, it's 30 plus 30. If you're watching the World Championships right now, the qualifier tournament, we're doing that every morning. Oh, by the way, I'm going to type into the chat. If you use code Samarkand, where the tournament is being played, you can get 20% off the first month of the dojo. That's just a cool thing. Anyways, if you've been following it, you will see that these players are very good at living off 30 seconds. 30 seconds is a lot of time. It's a lot of time. Now, you don't really want to be in that situation. But the difference between 30-0 and 30 plus 30, oh, that's a big difference. And again, the dojo, what is it? What are we saying? It's saying as you progress, as you get a little higher, you will start needing to play longer time controls. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Let's get into it. D4. All right, wait, get the game review button. D5, fine. A little weird, but fine. Fine. You're doing great. Queen B6, fine. C5, a little frisky. It's not a bad move. And now Queen B3, fine. Okay, so one thing that's hard maybe to understand at first in this position is that the break B4, B5 is a very powerful drug and needs to be stopped at all cost. So most GMs here will play A6, B4, note to bene, he's still threatening B5 because when you go snip and snop and there's no pip because of the ROP, okay? So in that case, after B4, we just play Rook C8 and we say, I'm safe, right? Okay, so this is, at a higher level, this is a big mistake. B4, castles, but here it's probably okay. And then white misses his chance. B5 is a very big advantage for white at a higher level. Knight E4, nobody's stopping it. G4, bishop G6, knight D1, terrible move. H6, decided to give my bishop an escape route. Okay, whatever your opponent. Okay, by the way, I did this Chessable course called Mastering Time in Chess. A lot of games from this kind of level. And what a basic thesis is this. At this level, they're not going to give you that many free pieces. However, they are going to give you loads of free time, such as this terrible, terrible move, knight D1. And one of the reasons they are going to give it to you is while they've been punished for giving pieces away. They haven't really been punished for giving their tempi away. As a good rule of thumb here is that you want to open the position when they do this. The value of time, tempo, increases when we open the position. So two plans come to mind, either b6 intending a5, trying to crack it all open, or f5, trying to open the king side, trying to activate this rook. Okay, those both look good. You could even consider f6 intending e5, a move to open the position while he's sitting on his butt, right? Okay, h6, a little slow. E3, rook e8, good. And now you hit him. Bang! He should have stopped that, by the way. Good. And now, amazingly, your h6 looks good because he can't f5 you and trap your bishop. Good. Knight f2. Now, one of the key things I want from you here is I want you soon to fix the bishop. So we're going to see if and when you do it. Knight d2. And then here, this is a mistake because you are enabling him to play e4. So what you need to appreciate here is that the bishop is poor and we got to fix him. A standard way to do it is to organize some kind of f6, move the king, get the bishop in. So taking here, for example, is logical. I'm sure you can play also knight f6. It's just that bishop needs to get out. Maybe you could imagine knight f6, rook fe1, g6. Bust him out of prison, right? Bust that boy out of prison. Very important to be sensitive to that bishop. Okay, good move by white. Now, I like white's position a lot now. Very frisky to take this. And now he blunders completely with knight f6. And notice, the reason that bishop f1 is winning, if it's true, is that your bishop isn't working. So that's why it's crushing, is because your bishop, if your bishop could help out that knight somehow, then maybe we could bring the knight back. Full blunder. Notice that this is, even though we're getting at a higher level here, we're still going to have people hanging all their coconuts. Good move. I don't know if I get it. h5, I don't like it. You need to be playing knight d3, and you put that in your notes. By the way, this position here is not slighted a big advantage for black. It is a full winning position. He's down a piece. He's down a piece. Okay, bishop d5 now scares me. He blunders with rook a8. Snip, snap. King f8. Okay, let's bring the knight in, please. There we go. Good move. And now he realizes that knight e3 exclam, king g2 was a mistake, that he's got this problemito and this problemito. King g3, thank you. All right, now it's just knight d7 equals. What do you mean knight d7 equals? You're crushing this fool. What are you saying? No, you're up a piece, boss. You're up a piece, you're up a piece, you're up a piece. No. I think basically what you're saying is, you're like, well, my bishop can't get out, so therefore it's equal. But imagine, even if you gave it a horrendous job like bishop g8, I think we have better than that move, by the way, but even if you did, like, we're going to come in, we're going to eat all his coconuts. We could put the knight on e5 too, just as a start. Give peace a chance. That's right, Finbar. Give peace a chance. Give peace a chance, bud. Give peace a chance. Chess Rise, you're absolutely right. We all know that knight f6 was crazy. All right, so let's see how this went down. Okay, no one knows what they're doing. King g7. Now, is this really going to be a draw? They just go around. No one gave peace a chance. Now, is it maybe kind of difficult? Oh, okay. maybe I'm willing to admit it's a little hard. But the first thing we could do is maneuver our knight to f4, and then after we push him back one, we push him back here, right? And one cool thing is we can lose a move. Let me show you how. Boom. We give piece a chance and we lose a move. Where does the bishop go? I don't know, but wherever he goes, I'm going to find my way to f4. Once I get to f4, I push him back one. Then I go here. I'm going to push him back again, and then I'm going to go here. Game over. Game over. I'm going to get in there. Okay, so great game, interesting, Chelmuth. You're doing great. Good annotations. The stuff with the computer didn't make sense to me, but otherwise, that was a very typical game at this level, right? Where we're getting a little stronger now, and the mistake that they're going to do is they're going to give you time, right? And then they're going to give you a piece. Then you need to give piece a chance, as Finvar says. I'm gonna steal that one, Finvar. I'm stealing that one. All right, Bradshaw. We're up to dupe check. Oh, we got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. Actually, oh, darn it. Darn it, darn it, darn it. So, did we get a little raid or something? I heard a little button. A little button. So, Kind Mitleid. Kind Mitleid subscribed with Prime. Very good. What's up, boss? Kind Mitleid. No pity. No pity. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of the... my favorite line in Game of Thrones was, the Dothraki have no word for thank you. Kein Mitleid. That's right. Okay, where are we at? I think we're at, are we at dupe check? I think we're at dupe check. Let's go give dupe check. Wait, I joined the dojo program at the start of 25, looking for structure in my training and a way to make meaningful progress, even at 50 plus. Oh, we got another old dude like me up there. With limited time due to work, I had spent too long on an unstructured mix of blitz games, opening videos, and YouTube content. Dojo helped me shift gears. I now focus on longer time controls and invest serious effort into post-game analysis, often spending more time reviewing than playing. It's tough, but I found this approach incredibly rewarding. I'm learning across all three phases of the game. Beautiful. I'm proud to have reached my first graduation milestone and excited to continue with the new cohort. The journey has reignited my motivation. I'm now looking for a new club and eager to return to OTB. Oh, this is beautiful, Dupchek. Great. So here's Dupchek. Doesn't tell us anything about himself. We got some clubs, Dupchek? No clubs. Let's go look a little bit at what he's doing, though. He's got some tactics, games analysis. Looking good. 1200. Wait a second, Dupchek. You're ready to graduate again, buddy. Look at that. You're ready to graduate again. So, games. And now we're going to look over here. It looks like he's Kermit. Let's go click this one. And we got times. We do. As you can see, Kermit put it together very nicely for the time usage here. All right, we'll go game review. First thoughts after the game. Opening was okay. Opponent blundered a piece. I hope he gave piece a chance. And later in the game, I thought that I might be able to sacrifice a bishop to finish the game with mate. But after calculating for 5 minutes, I got the impression that my idea will not work and played it safe. Okay, let's go look. So, boom, boom. Fine. Beautiful. Fine. 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 And this one, it can't be wrong to play bishop g4. You could do other things, but this is fine. Fine. Weird. White has overseen that the bishop is trapped. It's also just not in line with how we want to play chess, right? Because, hey, your bishop is already out, buddy. You don't need to go play no b3. Excellent. Queen e4. Snip. Thank you very much. bc4. Okay. And now queen c7. Okay. So the issue with queen c... No, I think queen c7 has to be fine, by the way. The only thing that might give me pause with queen c7 is if c5, how do I feel about bishop h2, king h1, and like, is my bishop coming back? It's a little funky. A little bit. So c5, from a practical point of view, is definitely easier to do. Your opponent, however, doesn't punish you. Now you play rook fe8. How come we're not taking on h2? At the bare minimum, you could take on h2 and then bring it back. I mean, it's a valuable pawn because the king's safety. Yeah. Take that pawn. Take it. So rook fe8, g3. Now we want c5. Knight f8. Now he might squidge you a little bit with c5. Good. Who knows what he's doing? One of the great things about this opening is once you understand that the king side is kind of really hard for him to get at, you're not going to be afraid of h4. And why? Because this big old fatty pawn, its primary purpose is to make it so that it's very difficult to get at the black king. Good move. Fine. Knight f5. And you talk about bishop g3 here. Now, I just want to say, you're up a piece, okay? You don't have to find bishop g3. Is it a nice looking move? It's nice, okay? But you don't need to do it. In fact, if I was playing this game, I would probably just play knight f5 too. You're up a piece. Give peace a chance, buddy. Give peace a chance. Yeah, you're up a piece. Now you're just completely winning. Knight e3. Yeah, what are we talking about? d6, terrible move. And I hope you said thank you. Yeah, just take them all. And finally he resigns. So, great game. It's very hard to actually give any critical statements about your moves or analysis. If anything, just the bishop g3 thing, you don't need it. You just give peace a chance and then that's it. That's it. Oh, Faugra did the 65 and 75 plus club. Nice. Nice. Thank you, Faugra. I think it's interesting to me from this is someone doing the graduate show. I'm sure it's interesting for other people for a variety of reasons, but there's a big difference whether you are some 50-something chump like myself and then a 75 plus. That's next level, 75, right? Okay, beautiful. Okay, what am I doing? What is my life about? I think what I need to do is I need to take a small break, and I will be back soon. Here we go. Boom.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine did he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Chuan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, rating's what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the club is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine
That
did he
ain't
hack in?
Mouse.
He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, rating's what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, work, never stop. Now occasionally he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I give up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, if Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need you, if Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the club is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Paradisey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine
That
did he
ain't
hacking.
Mouse.
He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board. It's only the other chap. Still his 7-year plan ensured.
All right, my friends, we are back. Ba-boom. Okay. Mr. Bruce is in the chat. He, like I said, he is doing this ChessCom training sensei thing. We started one ages ago. We're talking at the beginning of the dojo. We're talking like 2020. So he's training some people, and he's looking for some sparring partners. So, yeah, go write him. Go write him. Totally cool thing that he is doing. I think they're going to be streaming that on ChessCom all the time. Hey, he should be, I don't know how they do it, but, using this stream to capture what they're doing there, too, when he's on. Okay, so we're going to get back kapow, and we're now up to Sticky Pawns. That's a good one, Sticky Pawns. Sticky Pawn says, transition to OTB chess and have been playing 2 classical tournament games per week. They are open, so I have been playing opponents ranging from 12 to 21. Losing often and struggling a little with board visualization, but I am going to keep at it. Very good. Okay. Yeah, when you play normal OTB, not our tournaments, you're going to face a wide variety of players, which isn't a bad thing. But it is a nice thing about our tournaments is you'll really be dialed in on people who are right at your level. Okay, adult chess learner, been working at it pretty good for the last couple months. So, graduated a number of times. 1165 looks good. Clubs. Toronto. I want to go back to Toronto, dude. Okay, so beautiful thing. We have almost as many Toronto people as Canada. Okay. Games. Sticky Pawns. Boom. Loads over here. And let's do this one here. Hopefully this is one of his OTB. Yes, it is. First, do we have a time graph? We don't. It's a little harder to do a time graph when we are when we're OTB, but it's definitely possible to do. You just have to note it on your score sheet and then enter it. All right, so here we go. E4, C5. You're doing fine. 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 F4, probably a terrible move. So, I love your move, bishop b4. Great. Your opponent didn't develop with f4 and weaken their king. You're going to say, look, I'm just going to bring out my people. Knight c6, bc6, fine. Bishop d3, d5. You're right, you could have gone queen b6. It's hard to imagine, though, that d5 is in correctamundo, you know. castles, and now a very fancy move, bishop a6. And you say Ingen didn't like this move so much. I like it. I think it's, it makes a lot of sense to me. You don't really, I'm sure castling is fine. However, after e5, there's a little bit of grief. There's a little bit of grief on your king, right? So here you're just saying with bishop a6, you're saying, I'm going to get rid of your best piece, okay? So I think that's very clever. And notice he's using this trick. Nice. a3. Now, do we want to take the knight? I would say no, okay? Because these pawns of yours are dominating this knight. They're not letting it go anywhere. So I would have been much happier with a simplistic move like bishop e7. Now we have to worry about your dark squares, and you fixed his worst piece. Castles. e5, there he goes. Knight d7, queen h5, superficial. Bishop d3, cd3. f5, good move, I like it. And now d4, mistake. It might look natural, but what did he just do? He just killed his bishop and gave your rook a chance to go wha-bam. Now we got that file. Rook f3, total chump change. Total chump change. What is he doing? He's trying to mate you, but he doesn't have the juice. He doesn't have the juice to mate you here. He doesn't have enough people. This is okay. And you don't need to play rook f7 yet. What do I want you to do? I want you to start making progress over here. He's not threatening nothing. a4, okay. a6, I don't understand. It's a complete waste of time. Knight b6. a5, terrible. Terrible move, a5. Helping your knight go where it wants to go. And now he's going to try to close you off here. You played rook b5. Okay. Another simplissimous move you could do would be to play knight d2 to e4. That looks great. Is it a cheap trick? I don't know. Now, taking this pawn, it's a little bit controversial because now you're really activating the rook. Because how are you going to move the knight now? So I think this is a little pawns or people moment because, yeah, it's going to be very difficult for you to detangle yourself now after knight a5. Okay. h4, good move. Knight b3. And rook takes a6 makes a lot of sense to me. He says h5. That's making his life very complicated. Maybe he did he think about knight a1? We don't know. All right. Queen h4. Now, it's fine to look with the computer, but what you really want to do is kind of just look for yourself about what you, if you think a mistake was made, what you think you should have done. Okay, so queen h4. Computer says this is a losing move, but it didn't feel like it at the time. Now, maybe it is, but you got to calculate what else you could do. It's not so easy to figure out what you should do. I think you're in big trouble. Okay, the big question would be, could I play knight a1, hg? It looks horrendous. Look like the critters have been crisped. So what is the right move? Well, I would need a momentito to figure out. Could we play g5 like a madman? I think we're still going to be lost there. Caps Chess, did you miss your own? We'll give you an update in just a second. All right, queen h4, snip. Now, rook a6 looks winning because this is a big time threat. Good. Oh my God, spice. All right. Now he says, I had mate in my grasp, but I didn't spot it. Well, first of all, if there is a mate here, you should tell us what it is. And that mate, of course, is queen g3. Now, we want, of course, you to tell us what the time situation was, right? That's one of the reasons we really want to Write it down. I think this thing about your stress in the final moments is key. I don't. Yes, you should be practicing your mates, absolutely. But also, I think if you were not so stressed in this final moment and just be able to relax a little bit, you're going to find Queen G3. Okay, well done, Sticky Pawns. And Caps Chess. Oh, this is pretty cool. Caps Chess just said, "Hey, boss, have you done me yet?" And the fact is, we're just doing you right now, buddy. Just right now. All right, here we go. Caps Chess says, "I haven't graduated in a while due to sadly not having too much time for proper training. However, my now somewhat established FIDE rating around 1620 and my ChessCom rating constantly above 1400 leads me to think that it's time. Within my annotated games, Jesse will find a game against an FM and one against a candidate master. These are my two most recent uploads. You can tell which one's which based on their rating. I believe that the game against the CM is more instructive. Okay, we'll do that. So here we go, Caps Chess. Caps Chess, of course, has made a lot of progress since joining the dojo. Look at that. Look at that rise over here. And there's his FIDE rating, looking also very strong. Yeah. Okay. Now, Caps Chess, I think, let's just say the obvious, buddy. It looks like to me you're ready to graduate again. He's a young man in Österreich. Let's read a little bit more. Okay. Great. Yeah. Beautiful, Caps Chess. Beautiful. As you can see, I'm going to guess, though, he's not religiously logging his business over there. That's my guess. First, we're going to see, is there an Austrian club? Oh, the Austrian Dojo Club. Who founded it? Caps Chess founded it. That's what we want to see. Österreichischer Schachverein. Right there. Yep. Okay. Beautiful. All right. So we're going to look over here. My games. And we have FM and an IM. And he wants the CM too. Now, this is done by rating. He's got 19 games. Maybe this guy, Oleg Maximov? I'm going to guess it's Oleg Maximov. Actually, Caps Chess, you could help me out. Maybe you could tell me which one it is here. I'm guessing Oleg, but I'm not sure. Let's give Oleg a clip. Oleg is an Anuda. All right, let's go find Anuda. Donde está Anuda? Is it on the next page? Now let me go back one. Maybe it was in... No? Okay, hold on. Anuda, there she is. Okay, here we go. It was such a long name, Caps Chess, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it. All right, first, do we got a time graph? We do. And this is an OTB, so special props to Caps for taking down the times. First thing we notice is that our hero didn't use his time so well. Right? Yeah. So this is 90 plus 30. It might be the case that this was a situation where he's like, dude, I've never had this much time in my life. I don't know what to do with it. We can see that Anuda knows what to do. Wait a second. No, I got it all wrong. I got it all wrong. No, Anuda's black, buddy. Anuda's black. Okay, so Anuda knows that she's got to think. So this is whatever. I don't know what happened in this game, but just the story of the tape, looking at it right here, is that Anuda, as an experienced player, knew how to use her time, and Caps Chess has got a little bit of an issue with it. Again, maybe he's just new to it, right? All right. There are time zone requirements we can get, or not time zone requirements. He said time zone requirements. I didn't say that, but I thought he meant time control requirements. Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit later. Okay, so let's get into a game review. And e4. Fine. 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 So what we're doing really is we're playing a Queen's Gambit declined reversed. Totally plausible. Good move. Bishop d6. Knight e5. Okay. I think this is all fine for you. Snip snap. It's about an equal position. That move I don't like. And you say, finish developing. As far as I was concerned, this is the end of the opening. I'm not worse. Perfect. So I think you're going to have to use your c-pawn. And c3 eventually I think is the move you're going to need to play. So knight d2 intending c3 is I think what we want. Also, it makes me a little nervous. I don't know if she could do this, but queen b6 makes me a little nervous. In general, though, this knight isn't going really anywhere. Now, your opponent thinks a little bit and decides to shut it all down. Maybe, but probably also unnecessary. Okay. b5, a little weird. So, rook d3. And you write, in any online fast-paced game, I would autoplay a3. I agree, you don't need to play a3. Okay, now if you don't like rook d3, you should tell us what you want to do. Notice that was your biggest thing, rook d3. Right there was 7 minutes. A fundamental problem that you have at this point is that your knight on c3 is really not a great piece. Right? By the way, what she's doing is she is saying, look, eventually you're going to figure it out that you have to move the knight. And I might even move it for you. And this is called a minority attack. Usually in the Carlsbad structure, you'll be here. You probably have to end up there anyway. And then b4 would push your pawns around a little bit. So, Caps Chess says rook d3 is marked as interesting, but not inaccurate. Okay. Queen c7, normal. Rook g3, going for it. Knight c6. Okay, fascinating little momentito. Rook d1, and we should calculate bishop h6. It's giving me a headache even thinking about it. But what's going on with bishop h6? Oh dear. Knight e8. Okay, we'll just say bishop h6 needed to be calculated. What I like about rook d1 is you're bringing the rook into the game. Notice it's going to be hard to beat her without this knight working. If it were on d2, you'd be ready to, at some point, play knight f3. Okay, she plays knight e7 and thinks forever about it. And you call it unnecessary. I think she's afraid, rightly so, of bishop h6. So I don't, just intuitively, this is not a mistake for me, because this is nice as a defensive resource against all the bishop h6s of the world. You go for it. Now, this is pure madness. He's just saying, dude, I'm going to come mate this lady. I'm going to go mate this lady. And now she thinks for 19 minutes and plays knight g6, which is, I think, maybe a big-time mistake. We're going to find out. When somebody thinks for 19 minutes, it's generally a sign that they have lost the thread of what's going on in the position. Several moves make sense to me for black. b4 followed by knight e4. Knight f5 makes sense. Rook a c8 makes sense. Okay, so knight g6. Snip. And now here. I think we should analyze HG and talk about why this is dramatic. Maybe bishop e5 here, by the way, but I just want to point that whether it's bishop e5 or takes, you're oftentimes just going to get mated here, because once we start anything on the H file, it's a hell of a drug. Like if we get 2 rooks or 2 queens, and it's just like, help me. So bishop f4, knight f4, queen f4, and now queen e5, which you really like. Okay, I'm just looking. What do I want you to do? I want you to fix your knight somehow. One move comes to mind. I don't know, more than one. It would be queen d1, intending this move. And then also later you could play knight e2. Queen e5, of course, goes into this endgame. And why are we going to be better in the endgame? It's unclear to me. So let's go. I see he's curious about a position here. So let's go read what he says here. f4. And you're right. I'm very curious as to what Sensei has to say about this. I am the type of player to play f4 quickly. Okay, I think f4 is fine, but what I want you to see is the queen e5 was really the controversial move here. Because you were basically gone all in on an attack on her king. And now the rooks you're not going to mate her anymore. And your knight is poor. So this position is really poor for white. Maybe even lost. Maybe even lost. Rook a c8. I understand. Now that, boom. Notice she's all the way in now. This is probably lost. Rook g4. And she plays knight c5. This is maybe frisky because she might get hit with b3. It should be winning though. Wait a second. Now you played this move, and the question could be, what about b3, knight d3 takes? I want to stress, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but here we have to say that she has some questions to answer because her coconuts are kind of in trouble. Now, in general, she should still be winning this thing because your rook is completely out of play. All right, g6. Makes sense. And now b3. I felt as if black kind of trapped that rook on my half of the board. Right, but she gets to play this move. So remember, as long as your rooks are chasing, dreams that aren't going to happen on the king side, and as long as her rook doesn't fall, she's completely in control. You talk about king f1 and rook c8, king e2. I like that, but here rook d2 looks like the end of the game for you. Because once she cracks this coconut, that's it. She is a 74-year-old man. I don't know. I said Anuda. I don't know that fancy last name. I thought it was a woman. She's a 74-year-old man who's a children's chess coach with his own chess club and a peak above 2150. Now, by the way, Caps Chess, I will say about Old Man Chess that he's doing here is that he is definitely in charge. And one of the things that you should be aware of here is you are getting worked with like standard positional play, and you're doing some, these ostentatious maneuvers in front of the king, which if you had your queen on the board, would make a lot more sense. Now it's just like your rooks are out to lunch. Okay, b4, knight d7. He could definitely consider knight e4. Rook d3. You talk about king f1, but notice rook c8, let's say king e2, and black has a lot of good moves, but knight b6 looks like a hell of a drug, right? He might also start with f5. The knight will be active. This guy is pinned. Not pleasant. Also, another simple play would be rook c4. I suppose you wanted to do king d3 somewhere, and then you got to worry about d4 cracking the coconut. So rook d3, knight e5. Dang, very impressive. All right, now we're lost. Good move, rook c8, g4, rook c4. Very nice. This is actually, kind of a master versus amateur game. I don't mean that in a derogatory sense, right? Because what you're seeing here is black is just playing solid positional moves, and you're doing a flailing. You're doing a lot of flailing. And that's very typical in games I see from players who, like you, have gotten good through the internet world, right? And now you're playing longer games, and it's a totally different situation, right? The threats themselves aren't going to do it. H5, reasonable. Knight d8 could, of course, he could have played knight e4. Knight d6, fine. d4. Knight b1, snip. Yeah, we're getting raged. At a GM level, I guess you could resign here. But you're fighting on. Check to the miserable king. Okay, so let me just go quickly back. I'm just going to look for myself. Black was slowly getting into a little time pressure. They're still fine here. They got 50. They got fine. They're doing fine. But what I want to stress here, they got 19 minutes. And you're playing as an older dude. As an older dude, I can speak for the older dudes out there. You can sometimes find yourself in a little bit of trouble. King b2, knight d5. Rook a8, good move. King e7. Give him another check. Yeah. King d6. That's a move he didn't want to do. And I have a feeling king f8 was still winning. King d6 is probably also winning. It's just going to give you a coconut here. I'm not sure I understand knight b7 or this. Oh, that's a nice move, knight c7. Now he lost his mind. What I can only assume was a total lack of patience. Yeah. All right. Now, this we're calling a draw, but I mean, I would be playing for a win now. I mean, maybe it is a draw in some theoretical sense, but, who knows what's actually happening. Mistakes will still be made. King c3, boom. Rook f7, good. I don't know who's better. Knight c6, and you play king c3. All right, very tense situation. My gut would be king e4. Let me just express why. The king is good at this distance from the knight. It's very spicy still, we want to stress. But imagine b4, rook g7, maybe knight e7, by the way. But I'm just giving a sample variation. Now we cannot go king d4, but we can go king d3. And this would be a big question mark to black. King d5, no possible. Right? Anyways, king c3, they come up. Now rook g7 looks good. Rook f6 does not look good because now knight e7 is able to guard the pawns. King b4, now it's getting a little dangerous for Mr. Anuda. Oh, he's very aggressive. But then doesn't... why wouldn't they just play e3 there? That was dirty. King g5, encouraging rook e4. e3. e2, what's that about? Yeah, now... The guy's down to 1 minute, though he does get 30 seconds. If I was him, I'd fight on. Fight on. Yes, it should be a draw, but, in a practical game, you still have some questions to answer. Great game, Caps Chess. Something I want to stress, the big one is you move too fast. You move too fast. And I get it. Like what you can see from this is a difference in skill level from the way this guy outplayed you positionally, also the way he used the clock. You can also gain a sense, people watching, that being an older dude, when you get into, like, you've been playing a couple hours, you've had to make some decisions, all of a sudden you might lose your mind, right? And definitely that's what happened here. Somebody lost their mind. By the way, David, if you're in the chat, bro, come join me, bud. Come join me and we'll do this together. Okay, well done. Let's continue to pretend that I'm going to finish this today. Probably not. It's okay if I don't finish, Jesse. It's okay. Next up, we have Tal Huber, my training plan. Annotate my games at least 20 minutes first thing in the morning. 1 classical game a week. Dojin's Open Classical has been great for that. Blunder game a day the rest of the week when I'm not playing a classical game. By the way, the blunder game really is for the under 1,000 people. Now, that might be a thing that you've graduated from that level, so that might be something that you've kind of kept up as a habit. Helps keep the chess muscles in fighting shape. 4, something I started just last week using the dojo's repertoire spy tool to set up bot games on Chess.com to prep for my upcoming open classical games. That's smart. I did win last week's game quite handily against a high-rated opponent. That's a data size of 1, though. Great. Okay, let's go check out Tal Huber, who has been around for a while. So here we go. There's Tal Huber. As you can see, he's really heavy on the games, right? Games and analysis bucket. Probably is too heavy on that. As you can see, looks like maybe he switched to Elite Chess at some point and is flying up. Very nice progress there. 11-17, looking good. Let's go look. Clubs, North Texas Meetup. Okay, great. Then we got games. Tal Huber, say something about yourself. You've been here around here forever. We want to know. We want to know about the Tal Huber. Okay, so this is his higher rated opponent, I'm guessing. Red Fox in a box. Or as we say over here in Maryland, Red Fox in a box. They don't actually say that. I just made that up. All right, first we're going to take a look at this time graph. Both players stopped thinking at a certain point. Maybe people were winning. We might come back to that time business in a second. All right, game review. Pop, pop. We're going to go over here. So, fine. A little weird, but fine. Fine. Weird. Bishop d3, definitely more testing, but you are developing your coconut. c6, fine. Fine. And now knight e5, which he says is maybe a little too much. I think this move was premature, and I should have played rook e1 first. I think this was the critical move of the game that put me on the back foot for the rest of it. I think you're doing fine. Bishop e2. And the reason in general you should be thinking about knight e2 is because the knight on c3 is so poor, right? It might look developed, but it's being murdered by these pawns here. That's why c6, I said it was a good move. It's killing your knight. It's undeveloping your knight. All right, queen e2. Rook e8. f4, frisky. Knight bd7. Rook a e1. Now, I just want to stress, I don't think you've lost the game by any means here. I think you're still fully on top of it. h6, bishop h4. And having been in this kind of situation before as the black player, I know that the knight on e5 is a real pesky dude. He's a real pesky dude. And now this rook f3 might be a little caps chess, if you know what I mean. Okay. So, here you spent 2 minutes, and I think it's worthy of thinking a little bit about what we're doing here. Rook b8 is it's a dirty trick in a way, because what he's realizing is that with queen b6, he's threatened this one, and now suddenly is actually threatening this one, because, let's imagine queen b6, queen d3, queen b2, rook b1, and then, oh no, there's no rook b7 anymore. So, by the way, I think you're doing fine in this position. And a natural move would be queen d3, just to get off of this pin and think about, having some lateral motion, controlling this. At some point when we're ready, we might launch it with g4, g5, right? So it's only this one that I think is a mistake. Knight d1. And you talk about queen d2, but he's going to take your coconut. And he's invading. It's not just a pawn. Yeah, now we're crispy critters. Yeah, we've gone backwards. Luke, we've gone backwards. Yeah, we're toast. Okay, so something happened over here. c5. Ooh, I would have asked Black in a postmortem if they had seen the fork coming. Well, unfortunately for us, they're still winning. King e5 was a little bit more sensible than this one, though. Have they made their lives difficult? No, he's pushing his luck, but here he goes. Now, I want to stress here. Oh, here we go. If we go back to L time graph, bang. I think I might have to. Yeah, I might have to grab it here just for a second. So, time graph. Oh gosh, I'm crying. Hold on, give me a second. So here's the time graph. Oh. Here's the time graph. We had looked at this before. So notice what happened. This happens a lot in the dojo. At players at this level. It's not just the dojo. But I see it at the dojo because I do the grad show every Wednesday. People get to the end game and then they stop thinking. So here, we are probably lost, okay? But Black is moving so fast that they might have an accident. All right, so I just want to say, just take it slower in the end game. Okay, here we go. Game review. I go back for Mr. Peck. King c5, king a4. h4, a5. This is already maybe getting a little loosey. b5, king b3, king b6. I like king b6 better. I don't understand. Okay, so we're toast. Okay, so there it is. And I think some valuable lessons, such as the knight on c3 is a little funky and we need to fix it after Black plays c6. Right? That your position was not that bad after knight e5, at least not with what went down, with this position with f4. Very annoying position for Black to deal with. Okay, beautiful stuff. Let's go back. Bam, bang. And, amable. I think he told me once I say it wrong, but it just means he's lovable. Now, to his opponents, he might not be so lovable. But here he is. Here he is, coming in hot with another graduation, 71 points of work. He says, honestly, I didn't do much outside of just playing games, but even that alone helped me gain experience and push through this rating band. Looking forward to building better study habits in the next cohort and seeing how far I can go. Brilliant. Let's open up El Amable. As you can see, the dojo training program has done wonders for Amable. He is crushing it, and especially recently had a really good run coming up to 1109. You look at his heat map, the man has been busy, and he's saying he's got a lot of orange. It's true. So, maybe in the next cohort he's going to end up playing less games, but playing games and analyzing them, heart of the dojo. Clubs. Loads of clubs for Amable here. And I think I asked him, I said, Amable, buddy, put in exact, because this Dojo Latino Americano, that's too vague. And then I think this is going to be him, dude, from Dominican Republic. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so we got our first Dominican Republic club. Thank you, Amable. Really cool. By the way, he didn't put it in his notes, but he is streaming, as I remember. You can check out his stream. Okay, games. He's got loads. Let me see if there's one more recent just in here. Yep. This is against Dan. So, what is our time control here? 30 plus 30. And he says, so I had an over-the-board blitz tournament, started playing 3-2, and that ruined my brain. My brain. I'm now playing too fast and not taking as much time. Oh, God. Okay. So, he's just making a big old speech to say he knows he played too fast. Now, I want to say, I think for Amable and many players around him, so this is not just advice for him, playing slow, it's hard, dude. It's hard. And yes, the blitz can ruin your brain a little bit, but it's also kind of like, it's still not a skill that's fully dialed in if you can't slow down when you're playing a game. And we'll see, I'm sure, that there's going to be some complicated situaciones in this game coming up. So here we go. E3 is weird, but we've seen this before from Amable. Despite me telling him not to do it, he's going to go ahead and play this weird thing, F4. Now, knight c6, mildly controversial because he's blocking the c-pawn. Okay. And black is doing fine here. I like knight b4 for black. Knight e5. And now, definitely what looks like a mistake because it opens up the f file. But the bishop on f5 is kind of in the way of everybody. So, knight e4. Boom, boom. Bishop h4 doesn't make any sense to me. And he writes, I think this is a dubious move since I'm going to look to exchange my dark square bishop for their more active one. And he's talking about this maneuver. So part of the problem of the stone wall is precisely that bishop. And whether you're a stone wall player or not, what you should really sense is, oh, I got to do something with that bad boy. I got to do something. Now, I do think this move is interesting, because if he had taken, then queen g4 would be strong. Now you played bishop d2, and he's going to castle. Okay, I'm just looking at something. Black, one of the reasons to pause here is black has put himself in a momentary position of problemitos. And in particular, g3 right away looks like black would have to take and do a perpetual check on us. And so, yeah, this is maybe a little unpleasant for him here. On king h1, maybe queen g4 would be his way to try to live through that. But look, even there, that's no bueno. I can take and play rook f4. I'm winning a pawn. So king h1, it's kind of difficult because I'm threatening. g3 is a real threat now. And if queen h6, I'm just going to take it. See, so the queen is overworked. Queen is overworked. Yeah. Okay, so bishop d2, right move positionally, but I think your bishop g4 was actually better than you gave credit to. And then king h1 there, threatening g3, looks very powerful. Queen e2. Good. Now you got an interesting position. Rook e6. Notice everybody's going caps chess here. Going full caps chess. Nobody. No, you don't get to go caps chess. Rook F4, good move. Fine. That's terrible. And we just take the pawn. Now, we need some annotations here. The problem for black is if G6, then his rook is shut out. We saw caps chess's rooks getting shut out earlier too. I think black is already in a little trouble here. Now he's toast. Thank you. Thank you. You give it a question mark, and maybe queen c4, but that's winning. Beautiful. That wasn't it. Check. Mate. In conclusion, I need to slow down. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Okay. So, well done, Amable. You're crushing it. I think if you Google Amable or YouTube him, you can find his YouTube channel. He's often streaming some stuff. So, kind of, at this level, there was some interesting stuff going on. I really encourage him not to just let him do it, right? Just let him do it. Just let it go, right? Let it go. All right, here we go. Grad show. Tom Myers. We got so many people left. Now, one thing that we're not at Tom Myers. We're not even close, buddy. We're at Represso. Something I've noticed is that as we go up, we sometimes get less games that are submitted, and that's because it's harder for people to annotate their games when they've already put a substantial amount of their self and their ego into the game. It's harder to look at it. And today, for my own sanity, I'm hoping we get some of those because I'm losing it. My mind's going a little loopy, that kind of thing. I might continue tomorrow, but we're going to just try to go through a couple more. So, Represso is in Warwick University. When you read this, I'm either studying, sleeping, or playing chess. Beautiful. Great heat map. Way up here, 1226. Oh, beautiful. Look at this. Clubs. Maybe he'll start the Warwick. I'm probably saying it wrong. It's probably not Warwick. It's probably Warwick or something like that. Maybe he'll start the Warwick Chess Club. Those English names are always funny, and until you know it. All right, games. All right, this is going to be round 6. It looks like an OTB, maybe. Yeah, I guessed it right. Do we have times? We don't. Again, you can put in the times. It's very helpful. Let's go game review. And boom. Fine. 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 Very theoretical stuff. B6. Bishop A6. Well-known theory so far. Okay. So I've actually had this position as black. It is pretty spicy. There's a lot going on. Knight BD2. Rook C8. And, dude, his openings are pretty dialed in, boss. They're pretty dialed in. Because he knows this famous trick now that if Queen A4, we got Bishop C4. If it wasn't for that trick, Knight C4, B5, black would be in big trouble after Queen A4. All right, B3, Knight H5, good move. F5, the most frisky. Another thing would be just to go back and see what he wants to do, but this is fine. Knight F1, maybe. And now you go for it with B5. I want to say that this position, I've had similar ones. I don't really like Knight F1, by the way, but I've had similar positions here, and I do find it very difficult to play for black because it's hard to make the right decisions. Okay, so he says about B5, which, by the way, is an intuitive move. And he says, used a lot of time here and ended up making this bad positional mistake. I correctly evaluated that any further kingside activity is wrong. And a useful move like Knight H F6 is a blunder because of Knight F6, Knight G5. Good. So I decided I need to close the center first. Yeah, and he talks about the move Queen E8, maybe Bishop B7, maybe, and I've always been tempted with f4, and he's probably right. It's never a good thing. However, it would ask white some really interesting questions. And one nice thing about it, or about queen e8, is in addition to touching the e6 pawn because of the knight, like maybe we'll play knight f6 next, and if he knight g5s us, we have this. Also, maybe then we could play f4 or threaten f4 because we don't have to worry about bishop h3 because the queens will be on e8. Okay, so good annotations. You're doing still fine here, though, c5. And the main feature of the position for me is, do you now try to find a way to incorporate this guy into the game? It's not an easy thing. I think queen c7 makes some sense. I have a lot of questions, honestly. I'm not sure you're doing that bad here. So queen c7, you have other moves, but this is definitely one to think about. How are we getting crushed after e5? So you don't mention e5, but why wouldn't we play e5? We could maybe wait on it too and play a move like this move first, then we'll play e5 later. We can always bring this bishop back to c8, you know, to get onto the board here. So now he goes for it with f4. Bishop d2, maybe a good move, and now e5. And he says white should have played de, knight e5, knight d4, queen d7, bishop c3. With the knight on h5 and the bishop on a6, black's position is a mess. Well, let me just say, I mean, maybe the computer would say this is a mess, and maybe it is, but there's still a lot of juice here for black. Like, let's say I play the natural rook here. There are a lot of questions here. I wouldn't know that black is toast here. That's just not something I know. There's too much going on. Yeah. Okay, so g4 looks funky. Good. Knight g5. This is his whole idea. Now you played queen b8. Okay. Bishop h3. And then you talk about de, queen e5, h4. You're talking about black surviving. I don't know why you're worse. ed4. And then you had, yeah, we've talked about this move, rook ce8. I think, I have no idea. But I like your chances here. Whatever the computer might say, your pieces are coming to life. Your bishop someday was going to find its way back to c8. There's stuff going on. You give a long variation here with de5. And let's just say you might be able to play knight e5. I don't know. Bishop f4, you have knight f3. If knight e6, you can also sack the exchange like this or the other knight. And you got a lot of juice happening. You know, there's a lot of juice happening. I don't know. All right, ed4. That one does look funny. Queen f5. And you say it's plus minus. I don't know if it's plus minus. Queen e5, knight e6. And now rook f7. Let's try knight e4. And, oh, unfortunately, we have queen takes and my knight's hanging. I can't play rook takes. That's a major bummer. Okay, that wasn't fun. I am looking, however, for ways to sack the exchange and try to live. Rook f7, bishop f4 looks too much. The queens are going to have to come off. Fortunately for us, the pawn on f5 is very strong. f3 is an interesting attempt. Yeah. Don't say the second W in Warwick. That's what I figured. They always smash them. It's going to be Warwick, not Warwick. Work. Work. All right, rook f7, snip, queen e2. And now knight g3, activating the one poor piece, does look amazing. Rook d2, queen c4. Nice. And now rook c2. Knight g5, he says, is stronger. Queen b4, and now he says black is winning. Whew. With white's queenside pawn structure collapsing, I should be winning strategically, but I need to trade pieces and consolidate the position. That doesn't make any sense. I'm assuming rook g7 was also winning, but okay. Snip, snap. Good. Good. Taking all the coconuts. You talk about bishop h4. I like it. Rook ac1. Queen b6, and now there's the miraculous bishop e6. Okay, that's kind of hard to find. I'm sure this was time pressure. Again, this would be great if we had some clock times on here, Represso. And then you have bishop c8. I have a feeling we're dealing with time pressure here. Okay. Bishop f5. And he needed bishop e6. One thing, just maybe the most interesting thing about this game for me is how, let's just look. Let's just go back to Represso for a second. This is an amazing game. Very good at annotations. Represso, dude. Wait, what's going on? We got to talk about this. Represso is rated 1226 dojo. Okay? But he is putting together some very nice games, knows theory, and a lot of times, I'll say somebody, I'll be like, well, you shouldn't be doing that much theory. But the way he played the game afterwards, I thought that was very high level. So if we come over here, we can say, in that game, there he's annotated all his games. Well, this is stunning, dude. Look at this. 60-30 OTB. He plays beautiful theory up to this point. This is very frisky. And if we're going to call b5 a mistake, then I would call it a mistake on like a 2200 level. Right? And if I have any problem with it, I think he kind of was too pessimistic about his position a couple times. But for somebody at this level, this is amazing. Great annotations. And whether or not I agree or not, if white is a little bit better here, this is great annotations. Great. He talks about g5, interesting. So I think, let me just say the obvious. Represso from Warwick, we're going to see him again, dude. This guy's flying up. It's quite clear to me. It's quite clear to me that this guy's in the wrong cohort. Now, in terms of what the dojo training program is, he's still in the right cohort, but I'm just saying he's going to graduate numerous times here. All right, my friends, this is the deal for me. I am toast. I've been here 2.5 hours. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. So, unless David Proust is telling me something right now, I am going to get out because I'm dead. I'm done. So the intention is, for me to come back tomorrow to finish it up. And we will start with James Huang. And we'll get done fairly easily. Tomorrow's a big day for me, too, because I'm going to get up super early. and do dojo commentary with David. And we usually go about 4 hours. Okay. Ooh, I got to do my own training log here because I did some nice work this morning. So here's my own business. I've been doing Samarkand, but I did some game because today was a rest day, so I did some analysis. So we're going to say update progress, and we're going to say 3 hours 20, and I didn't even finish the game, but it's a very good analysis. Update. So there we are. What do I got for the week so far? I got already 11 out of 15. That's pretty good. So now, next one up, we're going to raid somebody. We got loads of people here. Let's raid GM Benjamin Bach, friend of the dojo. He's always doing something fun. Oh, I'm exhausted, dude. So I will be back tomorrow around the same time-ish. It's going to be a busy day because we're going to be covering the Samarkand Amazing Tournament. It's been very enjoyable to do it. And you will find me and David doing that tomorrow morning for several hours. And then I'm going to try to finish the rest of this bad boy tomorrow. But now I'm done. I'm done. So, hey, boss, I know we can do custom tasks. Donor all like ChessCom puzzles? Do you like ChessCom puzzles? It's okay. There's nothing terribly wrong with it. We're going to get our own better puzzles going soon, though. We're working on that. Okay. So, here we go. Oh, unrecognized command. Oh, bruv. Raid. GM. Benjamin. Bok. Hopefully that's going to work. So, this has been the ChessDojo training program. I'm here on Wednesdays, sometimes Thursdays. Tomorrow will be Thursdays. You can also see us tomorrow morning. Me and David Bruce will be doing, and Kosti will join us later, but he wakes up a little later because he's a millennial. We're going to cover the Samarkand tournament. Bye, everybody.